Hello, everyone. Good night. I hope you guys are having an amazing Saturday so far. Welcome to episode 2 of the Creative Minds podcast. I'll be your host, Rum. For those of you who know me, I'm happy to have everyone here so far. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm hyped. You know, hope y'all are as excited as I am for this. It's been a wild week. Also, I want to firstly thank everyone so much for your patience. Episode 2 was actually supposed to be weeks ago. However, I had a family emergency, so I couldn't, host the episode. So I thank all of you for your patience, your commitment, for waiting. The guests and your rescheduling. I appreciate you guys for your understanding through that situation as well. And just everyone for the kind words, the messages when I posted the announcement in my Discord. It meant a lot to me and my family. I did extend your message and your kind words to them. It helped, and we appreciated every single one of you so much. So I'm very happy and thankful for each one of you for that. It goes such a long way. And yeah, I'm very, very thankful again and excited for you guys. So this is episode 2, the Creative Minds podcast. So the schedule of events for the podcast episodes is there's gonna be 3 segments. The first segment is gonna be where we have like the general introductions with the greetings, the icebreakers, the opening comments, and so forth. The second segment is gonna be the interview and casual talk, which is gonna be the bulk of each episode. And this is where all the juice, the introspecting happens, and where we really get to dive into the minds of the creators. So I'm looking forward to that, and I know you guys are as well. Well, I hope you guys are as well. And the third segment is going to be the closing remarks, the wrap-ups, the final statements, and of course, have to stay humble. The thank yous that I'm going to be extending. So today, our guest is going to be none other than drum roll. Imagine a drum roll sound effect here, okay? It's only me on production. I haven't hired a production, side yet. So use your imagination here. Come on, let's imagine a drum roll happening at this moment. Let's introduce our very own guest today, which is going to be none other than Uncle Vanzel. Vanzel, how are you? How are you today?
Greetings and thank you for having me.
It's my
I'm
pleasure.
doing fine. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing good. I'm excited to have you here. You guys, before we start, right? This room that we're in, I want you guys to, I know it's only one shot that you guys are seeing right now, but the creativity that went into this room that we're in right now, I wasn't gonna spoil it for myself, but when he gave me the address, he was like, you can visit now or you can wait till we go live with the episode. And I was thinking to myself, you know what, maybe I'll wait, but it's impossible, man. It's something that Vanzo did. When he said that, he put me on the edge of my seat, so I had to run over and took a little sneak peek of it. But I'm happy to have you here today, Vanzo.
Thank you.
Also, you guys, Vanzel is hours ahead of us. So I want to personally thank you. It's 7 hours ahead, right?
Uh, about so, I think it's 2 a.m. here.
See, y'all, it's 2 a.m. for him. Yet he still dedicated his time, his precious time, to be here with us tonight for episode 2. So I really appreciate you for that. I'm flattered. And I'm gonna make sure that it's worth your while, okay? I'm not gonna let you stay up for no reason. I'm gonna make it a good experience. So thank you for staying up.
No problem. It's a pleasure.
The pleasure's all mine. I feel like, I don't know. I look up to you as like a designer, and to have you here and you dedicating so much of your precious time, no sleep. In fact, like someone who's missing out on sleep is a dangerous person. You don't mess with people who haven't slept, and the fact that you're staying up It really, really means a lot to
Well,
me.
I just try to be supportive of anything that involves the housing community, so no problem with that.
So that's heartwarming and heartfelt. So I want to just showcase you guys. I want to just let's get into this room that we're in. Okay, I'm gonna stand. And we're gonna take a walk around because I want you guys to look at some of the details. You see this man right here on this chair? You see him? His mind, right? He sacrificed. You do know why he's bald, you guys, in game where his character's bald? Let me tell you why. It's because he was faced with an ultimatum. It's either lose your hair and gain all of the creativity in the world, or you keep your hair and never be able to create anything again. So I think we can all agree that he made the right choice, right? I mean, just look at the stuff that's going on in here, you guys. Just take a minute to appreciate all the fine details that went into this design here. It's incredible. I'm a little upset that it's nighttime right now, because when it's daytime, the on-air signs actually light up, which I think is the dopest thing ever. And when I noticed is that he put them facing the north wall, so there's not going to be the reflection from the sunlight, right? So that was pretty dope. So it's a good touch, you know. We see the fine details around here, and we appreciate it. So if you guys can come and game, the address is pinned. I would love for you guys to experience the beauty of this design on your own. Like, there's so much to appreciate in the build. So, like I mentioned, this is the first segment, and I want to ask you something, okay, Vanzel?
Sure.
So, if you and I were to trade places, what's the first thing you would do? It could be in any aspect. It doesn't have to be just limited to like design. It could be like anything. Like, what's the first thing you would do if we were to trade places?
You mean if I were in your place?
Mm-hmm.
Regarding housing commissions?
You'd what, sorry?
You mean regarding housing commissions?
Regarding anything. It could be anything.
Honestly, I have no clue.
You have no clue. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I know what I would do. Not the first thing I would do. You would probably be Auntie Vanzel. I would retire the uncle and put it as Auntie Vanzel. It's the first thing that I would do. You know, get a little auntie in there. Visit for Thanksgiving type vibes. It's the first thing I'm gonna
Uncle
do.
Vanzel sounds fun. Would it be a potato?
But like, it
Like
should
the
be.
race?
It should be Lala, right? That would work.
Sounds appropriate.
You should not be encouraging me, because I'll actually do it. After the
Yeah,
stream.
maybe create a brand. Yeah, a whole different races.
See, but that's gonna open me up to so much pressure, though. I don't think I can follow in your divine footsteps. It's that I still have a lot of ways to go before I can do that. I might be setting myself up there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, so what else do you do in game? Because we all know you're an amazing housing designer, but what else do you endeavor or dabble in 14?
In Final Fantasy 14, pretty much nothing else, actually.
Only housing?
I basically just do the main scenario and a couple of dungeons to fully experience the story, but that's about it. I will level the crafters when the new expansion hits, but beyond that, I just mainly do housing.
Oh, okay. So, well, I was gonna say last week, scheduling. The last episode we had Astra, and Astra raids, and I'm shocked you don't even. Okay, do you at least do like the casual stuff, like roulettes and the alliance raids and stuff like that?
No, nothing else.
Nothing. Vanzo,
No,
you
I don't.
play this game for housing?
Primarily, yes.
Oh my god. Okay, so housing friends.
I like the other aspects of the game, of course, but these days I don't have the time for it. So I just stick with my most passionate hobby, which is housing.
Okay, awesome. I love that. But I'm gonna put it out to the housing friends that's watching right now. We have to kidnap Vanzel one day and just band together and do like an alliance raid of some sort or something. You know, just a bunch of housing people and just dive in some content for at least an hour or something. Right?
Housing people raiding, that would be a wipe fest.
Oh my, you have to be optimistic. You cannot say that, Vanzel. Where's the faith? Where's the faith? You just called us out so bad right now. That are gonna instant wipe. No faith at all for the housing mains out here. I think we'll manage. So we create some intricate stuff. So I think we can handle a mechanic.
I mean, I can stand outside the raid and craft some furniture for you, but beyond that, I don't see it being much help.
Stand outside the raid and craft furniture. Okay, we don't need food around here, y'all. Just furniture, okay?
Yeah,
that's how
exactly.
That's how it's gonna go.
I can make food tabletops that you can place in your house.
No raid food?
No raid food. No.
So, okay, so if we're gonna raid for the aesthetics. Gotcha.
Of course.
I can get behind that.
We will wear our fancy gloves and we will die.
Alex, you look good doing it. Die in finesse. Oh, we should put that on a t-shirt or something. Die in finesse. I love it. I love that. I used to do regular content, but I kind of gotten lazy. I G-post sometimes. I tell myself, I'm gonna mention this every time. I do 3 G-poses a year so that I can keep calling myself a designer and a G-poser. 3 is better than none, you know? So that's what I dabble in outside of housing. But because
G-posing is fun, yeah.
It's fun, but it can be a little bit stressful, especially if like you have an idea and it doesn't work. Because I think the thing with housing is that you can see a picture on Google or something and you can either 100% replicate it or at least 70% replicate what you see in that picture in game. However, with G-posing, it's like, especially if you use like, you know, the other avenues to get more creative freedom, I would say, to remove the boundaries within the game. You have to like take outfits into consideration, you have to take poses into consideration, and then sourcing those things are usually one of the hardest if you don't know where to look. So
yeah, there are more factors in play, I suppose.
Yes.
Compared to housing, at least.
Yeah. So I would prefer housing. It's just like the only time you would hear me say that, because housing is a love-hate relationship. I think I have a very toxic relationship with housing. You know, I love it so much, but it irritates me sometimes.
How so?
Okay, well, I'm the type of person when it comes to like a build, there are times where inspiration would just flow and I'd just be able to just get into it. And other times, not that smoothly. And also, even if, you know, I like something, I have this habit of, and I don't think it's just limited to housing, I think it's just limited to anything that you like. Like if you stare at it for too long, you kind of just start noticing some little, you know, flaws or stuff of that matter. And that happens to me, and I struggle with that.
But you can correct them, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't like something.
Absolutely, but I'm also really lazy, Vanzel. So if I take so long to do something, and for some reason I stop liking it, I'm going to stare at it for the next hour and decide, oh my God, do I really want to change this right now? Like I did so much. I'm really lazy, which is why I procrastinate so much.
Yeah, I can understand the laziness, but that's not even the worst kind. I think it's far worse to make something that you like and then the next part hits and you see a new furniture that you want to include in previous houses.
Mm-hmm. I feel that way so often, especially when live letters come around and they preview something. My first personal build, this was back when the slots was in preview. I did like this open, not like window, but it was like division for the lofted bedroom and the rest of the house. And I used the wooden handrails. And when the slides came out, I was like, oh my God, this would have been so ideal for me when I was designing.
Yeah, it was a game changer.
Definitely. Do you have like a favorite item that you use?
Favorite item? It's hard to say because of the many different themes. I particularly like the slat and the widescreen.
Slats and white screens. Could you live without, if you had to pick one over the other in terms of like influence in your designs, which one would be more influential, would you say?
In terms of alternative furniture, I would have to pick widescreen because where things are now, there are certain things with a widescreen that you cannot do with any other furniture. It is the only dyeable surface that wall-mounted items don't snap on it.
That is true. That's a good point. Fair trade. Fair trade. I think for me,
Classic has so many other uses. I mean, very, very versatile item. It can be ceiling, it can be a wall, it has that curved trim that you can use. Yeah. So yeah.
that it could also be like an accent, you know.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I've seen.
Yeah,
I think
and its wood texture is pretty unique.
we need some more items like it to match that grain. And it's so funny how with Square they put like the most texture in the places where if you're using the items for their regular use, you're not gonna see it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah,
what's the process behind this?
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun for us to experiment and test things out.
That's where we come in, for sure. I mean, hey, if it wasn't for us designers, we probably wouldn't even have figured out so many things in terms of housing as a whole.
Yeah, sure. You have to rotate it all the angles and degrees to see it a million different ways.
Yep, you gotta stick it in a wall or two or something like that just to see. And there's some examples in this build that we're in right now. Actually, like you can see the cardboard boxes.
Yeah.
There, so that's like a good use using one side of it.
Yeah. Good eye. You caught it.
Another one, just from like the view that I'm looking at right now, are those I see the ice partitions, the blue
Yeah, from the event.
do you have like those stockpiled or do you buy them from the black market?
That specific partitions, I was playing the game when it launched, so I stacked a few.
So I kind of went overboard. So recently, you know, the events where we had like the cage whisk.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
So I've always heard people say stock up on limited event items. And I thought that one was pretty interesting. But mind you, I have
the whips.
yes.
Yeah.
And mind you, I haven't saw it in game before. Like myself to see like if it gives out any, you know, ambient lighting or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the vendor after I completed the quest, and I do not know who told me to buy 87 of them.
How many?
87.
Okay.
So now it's kind of just sitting in my apartment storage. Just there for no
That's a lot of
reason.
lamps. That's a
It's
lot
a
of
lot,
lamps.
and I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I haven't even used one yet. So,
Well,
yeah.
if you're planning on making some sort of night build, I suppose that they will be useful,
But I don't know though.
or some haunted mansion.
I don't know. I'm not sure. So look,
I,
if any of you guys need some, just let me know. Oh, you have to be on Dynamis.
yeah,
By the way. So if any of you need some.
1 million each. No more,
1
no
mil
less.
each? No, okay, no, that's too much. I feel bad.
Its value will increase with time.
Oh, so are you saying I should redact my offer? Okay, yeah, I'll take it back. Uncle Vanzel advised that I should be about the bank instead. So never mind. I take that back. I take that back.
Yeah, you shouldn't have said you have 87. You should have said you have less. If you flood the market, then the price will plummet.
I mean, but hey, I'm pretty sure I'm like the only person with that many. So I kind of still dominate the market, you know? I hold everyone at my mercy with those. I got a little smarter though with the recent Valentine's one with the table. I only got, I think, 15 of those tables, which I still think is kind of a lot, but at least it's not 87. You know?
I just bought one. I didn't like the table.
You bought one? Okay, so the only reason why I bought that much is because I want to use it as like to make like a custom bed sheet or spreading. I don't know which term you guys use, but I want to do that to put like a little design on it. I also want to do like a custom like mat of some sort with it. So that's like my only two options.
Yeah, so I think I saw someone using those tables as a spiral staircase of sorts, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
But I didn't find any other use for that, so I just bought one just for the sake of having one.
It's very situational.
The wisp seemed more versatile, for example, compared to the table.
Okay, so speaking of the wisp, you did a manor build, or is it a manor or graveyard using?
Wait, which one?
Okay, so I remember, I think it was you, and you specifically used the wisps with a graveyard in a graveyard type of.
Yeah. I think I remember which one you're referring to. Yeah.
Well, what was your inspiration with that? Was it just seeing the item and saying, "Oh, let me make a"?
Actually, it was not an inspiration. It was a request for someone.
Oh, so a commission.
Someone came to me and said, Vanzel, I want Damel graveyard altar.
What?
And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, sure, sounds interesting. Let's do it.
Wow. As someone came to me with that commission request, I would tell them, have you seen my design?
You should see the requests. They are amazing.
It sounds like it.
I can't take sole credit for inspiration.
So it was all in the clients.
Yeah, people have been approaching me with lovely ideas.
Well, I mean, okay, so the inspiration from the client, but also your execution. So in terms of execution, was it the item that helped that, or did the item inspire your client for that design?
No, the owner did not really care for the wisps. He had some spare, but the main idea was an altar. It just so happened that the event was up, so it was a good timing.
Gotcha. I mean, so it all worked out.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was a fun one. Not one of my best, I have to say, but it was a fun thing to do.
Not one of your best in like which aspect? Like design-wise, or?
In terms of details, complexity, and overall result.
Gotcha. I mean, it was still a pretty good build, and I think you executed it pretty well too. Like it's memorable. I remember it. Was it around Halloween time?
The request was around Halloween, but
Gotcha.
I got to it very much later.
Gotcha. I mean, hey, you're Vanzel. You're booked and busy. You put out a lot of co- not I wouldn't say commissions, but bills overall. Are you a commission designer? Do you do mostly commission work or personal?
Uh, yeah, practically 99% of what you see is commissions. I only own the two houses for myself, so
Gotcha.
I don't have much time to do the designs on them. I just mainly do commissions for other people,
Gotcha.
which
Gotcha.
is which is my main purpose anyway,
You know,
to do houses for other people.
I think you should focus on some personal concepts because again, I'm going to admire this room. It just you do so much amazing um builds
Yeah,
and
you
like
see, personal concepts and commissions most oftentimes collide. I have certain ideas and I shelve them, and when an owner approaches, I already have several ideas in store, so I get to do what I want for them.
gotcha. I mean, it makes sense, but I mean, I'm just a little biased though, because after you blow my mind with stuff, and even with this, before we started, for those of you watching, I was telling him, uh, when he sent me the address, I came over for like 10 minutes, and thank God I had to get busy with schoolwork, because I procrastinate so much, so I couldn't really get to fully take it in. So I'm not gonna count that as a spoiler, but it's just it blew my mind when I walked in, and especially when I saw the on air sign, and not only one of them, but there's two of them. And also if you look behind this, actually let me go give you guys a closer view of it because it's insane. This little detailing here with the house, like this is incredible to me. um And when I initially thought about the podcast, my initial thought was, okay, let me create a room that I can host the episodes in. But it never once crossed my mind to make it like an actual studio. I was just gonna do like a regular, office, and that was gonna be my approach. And when I came in and I saw like how amazing this is, it just blew my mind, and it's incredible. And man, again, if you guys can visit in person, definitely take the time to do so. It's 110% worth it. There's just so much to look forward to. So that's gonna sort of wrap up the first segment. So to kind of unofficially close it out before we jump into the interview section, we're gonna have a little bit of questions from some of the viewers and people who sent it in, right? So this one is the most recent. So Camelius, he wants to know, if we don't do any content, what happens to your guild?
Well, I mostly use the gill to buy glams, and I have been saving up enough for a concept I am workshopping at the moment that I want to announce at some point once I am more free with commissions.
Oh, so you guys, you heard it here first. He's working, planning a concept
Yeah,
design.
basically, I'm thinking of doing something that I like to call the nieces and nephews program, where I will basically fund other people's houses. So if you have a house that you bought and you don't have the gill to even hire a decorator, you can send an application to me if you're interested, of course, in the things that I do, and I will do your house for free. No costs for furniture, no fee, nothing. Something like that. I haven't worked out the kinks of that program yet, but something along those lines.
That is so heartfelt and heartwarming and so considerate. A lot of people would have,
Yeah, I know. I know. I mean, a lot of people, from my understanding, have barely enough to own a place or a free company.
mm-hmm.
And I imagine that if they wanted to contact me and they were nervous because they didn't have enough gil, in that way they can apply, and of course certain conditions and terms will still be in place. For
Mm-hmm.
example, ground floor only builds, and so on and so on. But yeah, I mean, everyone will be eligible, of course, even those who have gil, but my aim is to target those people who don't have enough.
Okay, so when you're approaching that, is there like do you require proof of some sort, or do you just go off
No,
of
no,
trust? Is
no,
it a trust
no,
system?
no, 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 no proof, nothing, nothing.
Okay, so
You
you're
can lie.
going,
I mean, if you can lie, come on. I mean, I don't care.
that's true. So you're
If you, I
going,
mean, yeah, it will be like an open form. If you have indeed the gil and want to apply for a free design, that's fine. I will have to select like, I don't know, like probably one design per month, per few weeks, depending on my time schedule. But yeah,
gotcha. That's really sweet though.
to answer Cam's question, yeah, that's where I plan on spending all my gil.
Well, you heard it. And he's doing, it's the very, again, thoughtful endeavor. And usually I've seen a lot of people experience this is that even so you enter the lottery, right? You don't
Mhm.
win. And the upside that you do win. So a lot of people they get a house, but all of their guilt went into getting the house. And then they
Exactly.
tell you, okay, well, I
Just
got my
like me when
house.
I bought my first, yeah, of course.
They tell you, okay, so I got the house, but I don't
Mm.
have furniture yet. And so I think that's a pretty thoughtful. And
Yeah,
I wouldn't even
we will we will furnish Georgia one house at a time, no matter what the cost.
Vanzel for president. Uncle Vanzel for president, you guys. No, that's really dope though. I know it's gonna help a lot of people and also give people something to look forward to as well. So kudos to you, honestly. I never knew that. So that's pretty dope. Um,
Yeah, I've been meaning to do it for a while now, and I've amassed, I think, a decent amount on all servers. But so far, it's been a time issue. So at some point in the future.
Gotcha. Well, I know we're all looking forward to it. And good luck to the future people who do get selected. Y'all are gonna be in good hands. We can all attest to that. Um, okay, so the next question is gonna be from Morgan. And he wants to know, okay, so it's good that you mentioned your nieces and nephews um name there. So he wants to know, how did the name Uncle Vanzel come about? Does it hold any significant meaning to you?
Not really significant meaning. I mean, it's just, well, basically, Vanzel is pretty much my actual name. Since there's no exact translation of it in English, it's what I thought would be a decent approximation. And I don't know, I just sort of thought of the persona as the regular grumpy uncle.
Oh, nice. Awesome. That's dope, honestly. Okay, gotcha. See, me, I'm okay. I'm not scared to use like my actual name, but I prefer to have like a separate um
Yeah,
identity.
no, no, it's totally understandable. Uh, I mean, especially if you play a race or a character that's different from your real life, makes
Exactly.
sense.
So kind of keep that in mind. So he has another one
Yeah.
from Morgan here, and it's, have you had any memorable experiences with a client before? If so, what happened? It can be good or bad.
Good or bad? Well, the best I can think of right now would be a person that we have become in-game friends, and we keep making houses together. So that was one of my best experiences. We did a couple houses for him, and he happens to own quite a few plots. So he was coming back to me with several ideas, and we kind of hit it off, and now we keep making different houses he owns.
Is this related to, I think you did like is it like a village of some sort or what?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Minato district.
Oh, okay, that's dope, honestly. It's good that you can have that
Yeah,
relationship.
it's one of the good things that I was aiming with is with housing commissions to sort of, I found it as a good opportunity to meet people and find people who share the same passion and enthusiasm as me.
That's dope. I like that. And it's mutually beneficial as well. You know, he gets some amazing designs. You get to another outlet to explore your
Yeah.
creativity.
Hmm.
And the overall community gets to see some pretty good bills, concepts, be them what they may. So I think it's a very, very good thing.
Hmm. And bad ones, bad experiences. Hmm.
Have you had
There
any?
have been a few. Yeah, quite a few, and still keep happening.
Wow, people.
But yeah, I don't mind. It's fun. It's funny. Fun. It's amusing for me.
You know what I like to say? Or every time someone gets slick with the designer, I like to say the broom, the witch, and the audacity of this bitch because I also find it amusing.
I mean, it rhymes. It rhymes, so it must be true.
I find it so hilarious when people try to get like sassy or attitude with designers or try to overlook us. You know, especially in terms of like where that the scale of respect stands in the community. I don't know why people feel so comfortable with giving us the on the lower end. But thankfully for
Yeah, I
people,
mean, I don't. Yeah,
oh, go ahead.
yeah, no, I'm sorry. So I don't exactly see it that way. Just I mean, not in terms of respect, but more in terms of they didn't know what they want or they didn't express what they want correctly,
Mm-hmm. So,
and among some other
so have you
events.
had to like, have you ever like completed or gotten about like 20 to 50% done with a commission, and because of that miscommunication, you had to like either ditch the
Oh no,
whole.
I don't let owners see the house at any point. You will see it finished. You will not enter until it's finished. I
Oh,
don't I don't like having people running inside while I do the house.
gotcha.
It's very nervous for me.
So have all the bills that we've seen posted from you, have those all been like completed and okay with, or are some of them okay? Well, this was
Well,
not what the owner
the
wanted.
the most recent ones I missed in the past what one and half year or so.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Almost all my experience has been positive, and the people who have approached have been lovely, and I haven't had any problems. I mean, they put their trust in me doing their house, and they let me do my stuff without any checking up or reviewing.
Gotcha. So they kind of
It
just
was yeah. I mean, they don't mind, and when we are done, they check it out. They see that it's all good, and if they need something modified, we can see about it when it's done. But almost all of the times, they don't seem to have any issue.
okay. So they basically put your face on the dollar bill, and because they put their trust in you, right?
I mean, I think it's because they are aware and they come well informed before contacting me. At least that's my experience. They know what I can and cannot do, what I'm comfortable with, so they know beforehand what to expect.
Gotcha, gotcha. That's good. Because a lot of times people would like want Like for me, I've been approached by some people who, so I only do one floor bills, Martin, of course. But then I would have people ask me to give them like so much rooms and just still expect it to be like as detailed. And I'm like, okay, listen, love, I appreciate you and everything, but you kind of, this is biting more than you can chew here, so I do
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when people are already informed.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I still get people approaching me, even so 2 days ago, with being like that. But I don't mind. I take the time to explain to them all the restrictions, all the limitations, even if they don't read terms, even if they don't know anything, even if they're just bored actually to check out things beforehand. I will
Hmm.
sit down, I will explain things, and if they are happy with the limitations that exist and with what we can and cannot do, we move on. Which I think is very important. It's one of the most important parts to discuss everything beforehand.
Absolutely, 110% agreed. And I encourage people, especially if you're going to commission a designer, they have a terms of service for a reason. Go look at it, look
Yeah,
at their prices.
yeah, I know, I know. I agree. Yeah, I have terms and conditions too, but I don't mind going over them every time with different person. I know some people don't like to read or are too bored to check it out or it's too long. It's fine by me. I don't mind. I like chatting up, and if they don't want to read beforehand, it's fine. I will explain to them, and if they again are not okay with some stuff, then they can find someone who will satisfy them.
See, I love that you're so nice about it. I'm not. I'm not. I'm really not. It's probably because it's the Caribbean in me, but my thing is, um, of course, I'll still respond to people and stuff like that. But when like stuff is listed on my website and it's accessible information, and I would understand if someone asked me a question from an angle that hasn't been said
Mhm.
directly,
Yeah.
where my information is, that's 100% fine. But if you're asking me the exact thing of something that's listed there that answers the question, that kind of makes me roll my eyes a little bit because it's like,
Okay. Then maybe you shouldn't see my inbox.
it's, it's like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness. And I see that as a red flag too, because I don't want to be quote unquote working for someone who is not gonna do the bare minimum to put that initiative in. Like if you're going to commission somebody, familiarize yourself with what they are okay with or what they're not. And then if you have any questions or you want to see if you can potentially compromise on a thing or two, that is 100% fine. But
Yeah, yeah, I understand what you mean, but I found out the thing is about this that we're basically talking about, I don't know how to call it, a hobby, a passion, a pastime activity, and some people don't take it as seriously or take it too seriously. So there's a wide range of people that you expect to meet, which is fine.
absolutely,
I don't mind that. It's fascinating for me.
I agree. I agree. Okay, um, so that can actually. Oh wait, hold on. Before I conclude, there was one other question. It's really general and it's kind of funny,
Mhm.
and I like it because it's just like it's so direct. And this one is from Kai, and they want to know, why are you so talented, Vanzel?
Mm, I don't think I am, but thank you.
You don't think you're talented?
No, not really.
And this room that we're in defy that opinion. So I'm sorry, but respectfully, your opinion is wrong on that regard. I'm gonna have to disagree
To
with
be
you
honest, I
there.
don't. To be honest, I don't even like this room so much.
Really, but there's so much beauty in here, though.
Not complex enough.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so we're gonna fight. I'm gonna take my hopes off. We're gonna fight. So these, okay. So the microphones, that's not complex enough for you?
Yeah. Can you tell what it is? You can tell what it is. If you can't tell what it is, it's complex enough.
Oh, no. That's not the point. That's not the point. That's not the point. So wait, okay. So the headphones on the table, that's not
Yeah.
enough for you?
No.
I'm flabbergasted. My jar is on the floor right now.
I think this specific design that we are sitting in is fairly simple. I really like basically the idea of you hosting housing podcasts, and I thought, hey, how about I make a quick recording studio? That would be fun. Haven't seen it in a while, so a good opportunity. But in overall complexness, I think medium to rare.
Let me see if I can give them a better angle here. Better. A few of them. Zoom out a little bit here, just so people can actually like see what's going on here. Hold on. There we go. Oops. I'm bad at this, you guys. Hold on. Work in progress here. Okay. So like you see, there's so much going on here. So much to appreciate. Even the lights at the back. That's like complex to me. I like that.
Okay, thank you. I guess it's all right.
It's
I mean,
all right.
yeah, we've seen that before. I mean, it's not something new.
Okay, but that's like judging the individual components though. I think you have to consider how it looks as a collective overall, you know,
Yeah,
which I think is considerably very, very good. You're talented, Vanzel.
yeah. I mean, I agree. Most of what we see, it's not new. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah.
But I think it's the way.
Which is in its own way good. I mean, the more people are involved, the more stuff gets released. So if not something is new, it means it has been done. So someone tried it. So that's a good. That's a plus for me.
You know, and on that point, I want to like everyone who has contributed to making bomb open windows. It's because of you guys that we have fast mistakes now. So just keep that in mind, you know. So stuff like that. So I agree, 110% with that. All right, so that concludes the first segment. So now, this is where we're really gonna get to know Vanzo. So I hope you guys are excited. I have some interesting questions here for you. And the first one is going to be, do you think that creativity involves putting your heart and soul into your work? Or is it more like letting your mind flow freely to witness the results of your actions?
Both.
Both.
It depends. Sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's one way. Sometimes it's the other way. It depends on the house, the theme, the owner. It's never the same.
Do you have any examples of cases where it's been either or even one where it's been both for you? What was that like?
Excuse me, I didn't get that.
Do you have any examples of times where it's been either or even an example of both?
Well, I mean, for purely inspiration, if I give an example, was the Tower Library. That was, I've been wanting to do that concept for a while, so it was pure inspiration. And I was like, okay, let's do something with max ceiling height in a large. And my friend was like, okay, I like libraries. I like Victorian libraries with the palace flooring, deep brown woods. And I'm like, okay, hold on. You like the library, and I want to do something with the heights. let's do a tarot library. And it just went on its own.
Gotcha. And mind you, that was a beautiful build, by the way. When I saw it,
Yeah, possibly one of my favorite I've done actually, and a pain to make.
yeah, I can imagine. And also, Cam asked earlier, what were you gonna do with all that gil? Someone went into that build. Do y'all see the amount of flagstone logs? I mean, steps that was used in that build? I was broke just looking at it. So I'm back to it the other day, and I was just like appreciating the detailing that you put in there, and I was like, oh my god, the amount of gil that went into here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Alora
Yeah, the
said,
flagstones. Yeah, now they're cheap. We did that when they were a bit more pricey, but now the steps are rather cheap on almost all servers.
so he's just casually calling y'all broke because he said he got it when they were first released. So he got
No.
he got a limited
No.
edition. That's what he's saying. Okay,
No.
I'm translating.
No. Gil is not an obstacle. It should never be.
I mean, Vanzel, not everyone can say that, sir. There's some people who's crafting for a living.
Yeah, those people can contact me. I'll give them the Gil. Honestly, Gil should not be an object.
So
It should not be an obstacle, so that we can make lovely things, especially those stupid gate-locked items. It's frustrating, at least for me.
So he's giving out free designs and free gil. I mean, what more could you expect from someone who goes by Uncle Vanzel, right? I want him as my uncle, actually. Could you be my Uncle Vanzel?
Yeah.
Like your nieces and nephews, as you may say.
Yeah, you will get both the Gil and the grumpiness. You can have one without the other.
Hey, it's a win-win situation. I'll take it. So do you strive to be unique in your creative endeavors, like the builds that you make?
Yeah, and it's becoming sometimes difficult, sometimes more easy, depends on the theme. I always strive to give the owner something unique, something that he has not seen before, something in terms of layout, in terms of style, in terms of vibe, something that he can call his own, their own.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Which is why I don't like making copies or doing similar layouts and designs, because I feel it will, at least for me, it will lose some small value for the first person I did it for.
Gotcha. And it makes sense. It also like helps in terms of like personalizing it for the owner's particular request.
Yeah, of course. 100%.
Makes it feel a little bit more, heartfelt, personal. Which is good. I think I really, only time I actually like, I would say 100% with that is, there's a build I did a while back called Pastel Goth, and it was like one of the first, I would say non-conventional color schemes for me, even though it does have black in it. It was I think I used Lotus Pink in it.
Great color, yeah.
The owner really loved it. They're actually goth in real life. And so it was just an amazing experience to build that.
I remember that one. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
It was dope. And back then too, I think at that time, they had like a lot of personal stuff going on, so it just made it so much better for them to see it done, because it's one thing that went right for them at that moment. No mess ups, no slip ups. Like they were in control essentially, and they got what they wanted. So that's great. Do you do anything special to get your creative juices flowing?
Research, a whole ton of research. It's an important part of the process.
So it's like an educational thing for you. You go and you don't dive into like the history, because Astra mentioned this as well. where he would go dive into like themes and stuff, find out like how you can link certain things to each other, which
Yeah.
I think is important. And for me, when I did my first traditional build a while back, I kind of struggled on the fence of cultural appreciation versus appropriation, because I didn't want my Caribbean yet Western manipulated brain just do something and then put a tag on it that's nowhere a representation of what it's quote unquote supposed to be. So that's
Yeah,
an
I
important part.
understand that. Yeah, I understand that. Well, I mean, that's my thought sometimes with more Eastern traditional builds. I try to do a lot of research on almost every case, from movies, from TV shows, from actually studying the history and analysis of its architectural style. It's uh, it's time consuming, but it's very enjoyable. You get to learn something new every time.
It's
And
absolutely,
I don't really see it as appropriation. I mean, okay, it's we're making we're making pixels in a game. Come on.
I mean, hey, pixels can still be offensive, I
Yeah,
think.
okay,
You know, I will
yeah,
do.
for sure. But I mean, it's not our intent to be offensive.
You can't please everyone in today's society, Uncle Vanzel. So it's
Sure.
better to be, you know, safe than sorry. And also, I like that you go so deep into where you pull um, your research from, because I remember your office build, uh, your build
Yeah.
inspired by the office. I think everyone was like so mind blown that you were able to replicate it so beautifully. And I never watched that show. I don't know if that's like,
I watched
how
it.
could you?
I have watched it enough times for the both of us. Don't worry.
Okay, that's great. That's great. But when I saw you post it, I immediately went to Google and I was searching for The Office, and I saw it and I was like, oh my God, he actually did do a great job at replicating this. And the
Yeah.
community kind of does a good job as well. I think recently we had someone create the Krusty Krab, and that
Yeah.
was,
Exactly. Yeah. Combining different shows in the game. It's amazing.
I want to do one, but I'm still deciding where. Morgan suggested I do the castle from Frozen, but I don't know how possible that's
You
gonna
will
be.
need some ice partitions for sure.
For sure, I'll come to you, Vanzo Bank. First one,
Sure.
might have to get a client on EU for a little concept there. Do you think what type of designer do you think Elsa would be? Immersive, modern?
Uh, Excuse me, I didn't understand.
What type of designer do you think Elsa would be? Like Elsa from Frozen? Have you watched it, sorry?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, she's the icy one. She's the one that freezes everything in the show, and
Mhm.
basically.
So it's like the Ice Queen, an ice castle.
Yes, yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
I feel it would be something along the lines of Art Nouveau or Baroque, but with ice flair.
Gotcha. I can see it, definitely. And yeah, Morgan's right. The Jeepos community would adore it. Um, so you do a lot of like, you dabble in so many, you know, different styles and stuff, right? And when it's
Mhm.
finished, do you ever, not even when it's completely finished, but while you're building, do you critique your own designs, your own work?
Yeah, of course. I mean, doesn't everyone that does it for themselves. I mean, you see something you don't like, you break it down, remake, repeat.
So that's how you deal with the critique when they happen. You don't even
Yeah,
let it marinate.
most times I will just finish it. I will sleep on it and then review after a couple of days to see if I still feel the same about it before handing it over.
See, I do that too, but remember I mentioned earlier on, I'm very lazy, so I really make sure that, okay, can I suck it up and make this look beautiful again? Or,
Yeah, I can understand that.
or,
I mean, if it's a matter if the owner doesn't mind and is not in any hurry,
mhm,
which usually that is the case, they don't mind the wait times.
for sure, for sure.
I like to take some extra couple of days to review everything, sleep on it, see if I have some idea to remake something.
I think where I mostly find struggle with that is like if the client actually like really likes an idea or something, and I know they would be okay if I were to possibly remove it from the build if it's not working. But if I know that they really want it to work, I'm going to try to make that idea work. Whether I'm opposing to it or not, I would usually find a way to make it work. And obviously, I'm not gonna, complete the design or post it if I don't like it. So I do end up actually liking it as well. So, and definitely relate to that end.
Yeah, I can understand that. Usually for me, it goes on the first step of the process, which is the discussion. If it's everything is basically agreed upon there, so there's no there's no much need for changes later. We establish what they want, we rule out things that cannot be done, and move on from there.
Absolutely. I feel like because you mentioned they only see your builds when they're finished.
Yeah.
But for me,
I mean, they can come in if they want, but when I'm not in game, I block everything with partitions and verdant partitions, so they cannot understand what's going on. If they want to if they want to, for example, it's a free company, they can come inside to do the submarines, but they cannot understand the build.
that is so. You
So
know what? I'm gonna do that.
to sort of, save them from any spoilers.
I'm definitely going to start doing that now. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna put some stage panels as soon as they enter, so they just get stuck there.
Yeah, they can move through furniture, of course.
That's so. I love that. So I think one of your clients is actually in chat, and they just said they can confirm this. So that's pretty hilarious to see. I'm definitely gonna start implementing that.
I mostly wanted to save them from any spoilers. I feel I want them to experience the build when it's done. When like with your food.
Yes,
You don't want to see it being made.
that's true. That's true.
You just want to eat it.
Just want to eat. I agree. I don't let people come in while I'm building. I share that same sentiment. I don't like it. I think it's very distracting to me. And if someone does come in while I'm building, I just stop working until everyone goes.
I can understand that. That's a thing other people have told me, and I can understand it 100%.
Yeah.
The anxiety, the nervousness, it's totally understandable.
And there has been one experience where a friend of a client came in, and I think I was still working on the entrance, like fine-tuning it to size. It was an aura. And he came in, and the comment that he made was, why am I taller than the door? And
So you can crouch.
Look, it took so much energy for me to not give a REM response from the REMtionary to that person. Because there's a lot of things that I could have said. But it's like, you're not even, one, this is not for you. Two, you're trespassing. You're not supposed to be here. Three, mind your comments. Like, no one asked for it. So yeah, I kind of just go still, and from that experience, I kind of just asked my clients.
That's amusing. I would have friended them, then I would make the door smaller and invite them back. Definitely.
Like, hey, I got something to show you here. But
yeah, come on here. It's a Lalador suddenly. We can go
Imagine,
smaller. We can go smaller.
imagine just replacing the door that you were working on with that new one that we got, the fairy door, and say, okay, we're gonna use that as the door now, since you had something to say.
Yeah.
It fits you that.
And we will make the door non-interactable. You will not be able to exit.
Oh my, you are. I don't know if this is petty of you, but I love it. I love this energy right now.
I mean, it's funny. It's funny. He's not saying he's probably just trolling or being funny, but it's amusing.
I like it. I like your comedic humor there. Now, I'm definitely gonna start doing that. What you said though, with putting things around the build so people get confused. But I haven't.
Yeah. I mean, people. I already explained to people beforehand that if they can have the courtesy to stay out.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Since that experience, I've kind of just asked all my clients to please lock your doors. If they have like a tenant, that's fine. I'm okay. I just ask them to let me know who that person is. But I mean, obviously, if they can enter, they have perms. But you know, it's still good to know because you can assume that
Yeah,
they
of course,
forgot.
of course. Yeah, it's their place. They can do whatever they want, but we just ask for some privacy. That's basically it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So how long have you been designing so far?
It's been since 2019, 4 years, something like that.
Wow, 4 years. I'm 1 year behind you. This is my third year actually.
That's nice. 3 years.
Did you how did you start your housing journey?
Well, I found out that you can own apartments and houses, so I started playing with that, and later I discovered that you can be tenant to other people's, and I thought, what a great feature and an opportunity to meet people who share the same enthusiasm as I said before.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of went from there.
Nice. So you've been designing for 4 years, right?
Mhm.
What was like the biggest opposing force that you encountered during that journey? If there's any.
Opposing force
Yeah, like something that
that would prevent me from doing commissions.
commissions, designing, it could be like computer breaking down, stuff like that. So anything that kind of just hampered your journey along the 4 years.
Well, it was fairly difficult, as with everyone, I suspect, to actually find people who would like to make you a tenant so that you can work on their house. So that was difficult at start. Sometimes I had to make many alts because I wanted and I still want to be able to do houses on all data centers.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bit difficult to find the open times to create alts. So yeah, that was a bit difficult at start. But that is one time only. So once you create the alt, you don't need another one in that server.
So your initial thing would be like getting yourself out there was probably initially.
Yeah, I mean, nobody knows you. You don't know anyone. And you kind of want to experience this whole niche community, housing community. I can understand how it can be tough.
Not sure. I agree with that. It's usually a slow burner, but once you got the gas going, and you put the oil in, it starts to sizzle. And
Yeah, it's something that, as with everything in life, it needs practice, and it can be quite difficult to find houses to practice on.
gotcha. And yeah, I agree with that. Thankfully, my first commission was actually from a friend. And it's lovely when it's from someone who you know. And his house was designed already, but he wanted, a change of scenery.
Mhm.
I was just like randomly like ranting to him, saying that I'm tired of being broke, Okay, so how you started housing and how I started housing, two different reasons. I was in it for the money. I wasn't in it for the guilt. Because I couldn't afford shit, and I looked around and I saw how much designers were charging back then, and I was like, okay, so these hoes could be charging people 10 million for a design. I want to be able to do that too. So obviously, I had to put in the work. You know, I had to be able to actually design something. Um, so, and I was telling
Yeah,
him
to
about
sort
that.
of build your portfolio.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
And he was like, okay, well, you know, I've had my house up for X amount of time, so why not, you know, design it? And I was like, oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. Could definitely cover that. So I would agree to that extent because I think someone without that privilege of word of mouth, by an extent, would have a
Yeah,
harder
yeah,
time.
yeah, definitely. I'm well aware of that fact. Which is now I will be probably on the lookout for such sprout designers, housing enthusiasts.
Hmm.
So if I can help them, get on my Medium, for example, and do whatever they want,
I think that
just play,
was
just play around, just experience, just experiment your heart out. No furniture cost, nothing. Just get in there and do your thing.
I think it's either it could have been you, but I'm pretty sure that I saw someone else also offer
Yeah.
that initiative. So I think it's really dope when people do stuff like that because unlike GPOs, um like I was talking about, you know, sourcing, you know, your external, you know, inspiration files, whatever the case may be, you can like if you're like subscribe to someone's Patreon, for example, for exclusive, you know, content and outfits and stuff like that. It's
Hmm.
easy for you to, I don't know if this is like politically correct to do, but you could share that file with someone essentially to help them, you know, get started
Yeah,
with their
yeah,
GPOs and
yeah.
career.
And I mean, there are quite a few people that I know that endorse such endeavors. So that's nice.
Yeah, for
Among
sure.
yeah, from people who have only one free company, or from all the way to the multi-plot owners.
Absolutely. And it's like with housing, it's not as easy to do that because one, you need the
Hmm.
furniture cost skills, so you need gil.
Yeah, you need
Um,
a budget. Yeah,
yep.
definitely.
So it's kind of it's more difficult, but it's still good to see that, you know, there's still that option for people um out there.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's good. Um, have you ever been faced with like negative feedback, and how was that reflected in your designs, if at all?
Negative feedback. Yeah, sure. There's always some. As with everything we do, some people will like it, some people don't. I don't really worry about that. I just focus on the positive.
So it's
Everyone is entitled to their opinion. I don't worry about it.
so it's never been like
Yeah, I mean, I even had this. I'm sorry. I even had. I remember. I even had Monday. I finished one house.
mhm.
I went to take pictures the next day, and it was gone.
The whole
So I
thing.
don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind. Happens.
It shouldn't
They didn't.
though.
Obviously, they didn't like it. Didn't say anything about it. I don't worry about it.
Uh, that's so. Hold on. Do you accept like payments up front or after you're done?
Yeah, it depends. It really depends. Sometimes I take the full amount at the start. Sometimes I take half. I have not had any problems regarding payment, to be honest.
No, okay, but and for that one, did
But
you already got paid for it or have yet to
yeah,
be
yeah,
paid?
yeah, 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 they had given me the amount. But even if they hadn't, I wouldn't worry anyway. I don't worry that much about Gil. Yeah.
Dang, that sucks though. Because I remember um I did a commission for large for an FC, and this is essentially the experience that made me stop designing for FCs overall. And the officer that commissioned me, obviously the head officer in the FC, right? Because they were in charge of the designers that they hired, and stuff like that. So I finished the commission. I had everything, and I ticked all of the boxes, right? So it wasn't to
Mm-hmm.
say that members didn't like it. Like I took member feedback during the commission, which is hard because it's impossible to like make majority of people happy. There's still going to be a few people that would like some things to be different, but you can't really control that. Not going to focus on that. That's trivial. Um, so I completed the design, posted it, and then a week later, the the officer messaged me on Discord, and she told me, I don't know what happened, but I went into our FC house and the design was gone. So
Yeah,
another officer
yeah,
just broke it down.
yeah,
And
it happens.
but that was like the first time it happened to me, and it was heartbreaking because
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah, I can understand that. It's understandable, and I can understand that feeling. Yeah, it's valid. Personally, I don't worry about it. I mean, if I have the pictures I want, I'm fine. They can do whatever they want.
do you think it comes with experience though? Because I feel like for that happening to someone early on in their designing career, that might make them not even want to design because that's just gonna set like put up such a bitter taste in their mouth.
Well, it can be discouraging for sure, but I think the important thing to keep in mind is that in the first place you get trusted with someone else's place to work on. So we should focus on that, I think.
That's true. So for newer designers out there, don't let setbacks stop you.
Yeah, as long as you get in a house, you're good. Let them do whatever they want with it later. That's all right. It's their
Absolutely.
prerogative. It's their prerogative anyway.
Absolutely. So we while we're talking on like the topic of negative feedback, do you
Mhm.
pay attention to others like reactions to your work, and does it affect the designs that you create? It could be good or bad reactions, like praises or even some of the negativity. But you said that doesn't bother you, so
No, don't worry about that. All that matters to me is the owner. I don't care for anyone else's opinion on any specific house. If the owner is happy, I'm happy. That's all about it.
and that should be
Yeah, if the owner finds it okay, I don't care. It can be small, it can be big, it can be spacious. If we're happy, if he's happy, if they're happy and I'm satisfied, all good.
I agree with that. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I've had some encounters, of course, where I was pretty satisfied and maybe they weren't 100%. We changed a few things, of course, until we got to fully satisfied.
gotcha. So you're known for like so many different themes when it comes to housing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is there a particular theme that you feel like most creative in?
Mm, good question. It's hard to pick. It's hard to pick. I I definitely enjoy exploring a wide range of themes. I probably, if I had to pick one, I would probably go for either Baroque or 1920s Art Deco. I feel those two styles have a nice mix of opulence, warmth, lightning, and detail orientation.
Oh, that is true. I can agree with the Art Deco, especially in 14. And you usually see this be channeled more so for like the Amarat style
Which is,
builds.
yeah, Amarat is basically 1920s New York Art Deco.
And I don't know, when people do it, it's mind blowing to me. I think there's so much going on in those styles of designing that I don't see myself ever like being able to piece it together. I think there's so much layering.
I, I, I encourage you to do it. I encourage everyone to do it though. I think it's fun. stepping out of your comfort zone, if I can call it that.
I mean,
It's definitely fun.
I mean, I,
Even if it blows, even if you don't like it,
I
that's
mean,
okay.
I mean, I step out of my comfort zone. It's just my brain is kind of. This is why my builds are also not that cluttered, or you would not see me do like a build that has so much emphasis on clutter. Um, it's because the way my brain works is it's very. I cannot make quote unquote a beautiful mess. It has to be
Yeah,
very to the
yeah,
point.
that's one. That's a beautiful thing indeed. Making something look bad on purpose. I love that.
I mean, yeah, but you guys do it good though. I can't. I can't. I struggle a lot with it. Even just looking at it, I may be able to identify, okay, well, they used, a combination of these items to create this, and I'm still mind blown by it. But I don't know. That's just not the way my brain works,
Yeah,
which is why I appreciate designers like yourself so
yeah,
much.
yeah. For you, I have to say, if I wanted to take you out of your comfort zone, I would go something like, I will take white rectangular partition from you and
Oh my
work with.
God, you cannot do that to me.
Yeah, and that's my advice for many people actually. Forget that the item exists. You will see that you will find many creative other ways to make stuff happen.
I mean, okay. Oh, good night, Dakota. Thank you for stopping, and you as well, Samia. It was a pleasure to have you guys with us. Um, I think I have been exploring more avenues in terms of like what I used to build. I think I did a bedroom concept recently, and that was mostly constructed of. Yes, there was white rectangular partitions, of course.
Yeah,
Um,
that's great.
but I use white screens, wooden staircase bookshelves, and stuff like that. So I definitely getting a bit more versatile. And also the cafe I did a while back, which is
Indeed.
basically floor, bathroom, wall tiles and stuff. So I've been trying. I've been
Yeah,
trying for
yeah,
sure.
I remember that one. I think I visited that one. Yeah, it was lovely.
For sure. So, but I
Mhm.
do agree though. White rectangular partitions, a great item, but it could definitely still be very limiting if you get too comfortable with them.
It's a trap. It's a trap item.
I agree. I agree. Definitely both a blessing and a curse in disguise.
Mhm.
So, okay, so you picked that as your theme. Um, some things that you've done that kind of stood out to me is that you did, I think it was Amarat influenced as well, where it was like the room was on fire, essentially, it was breaking down.
Yeah, yeah. I love that one. Yeah. Sadly, it's not longer out, but yeah, that was fun.
It was amazing. I don't know, just like the burning effects all around. Um, and I think the next design that I think most people probably knew you from, and I want to talk about that build a little bit, is
Mhm.
your hospital build.
Oh yeah, that's still up. That's an old one.
It's still how when do you remember when you designed
It's
it?
oh 2020, something like that. 2019. It was
Wow.
my first house when I relocated from a small to medium. So yeah, it's been up for a while. I have not touched it. It needs definitely an update with all the new items they have put out 2 years now.
What was like your inspiration for that build? Because it's truly remarkable. I think it's one of the most like if you see it, you know where it is, what build it is and who built it. One of those like trademark builds that we've
Mm.
seen so far.
Yeah, it was a fun one to do. I mean, at that time I hadn't seen many houses horror related,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it would be a neat idea to try.
What was like the most difficult part for that design?
For that design,
Mm-hmm.
nothing. It was very simple. And if I now that I look back to it, when I visit my private house, It's fairly simple. There are not many details going on there. I mean, in terms of trimmings, framings, doors, etc.
That's true. And I was about to say it could be inspirational. And Laura just mentioned that. She said it helped her to see that she can do whatever she really wants um, instead of
Yeah,
having to make a house in a house. So it's great.
yeah, yeah. That's neat. Yeah, to make something that's not a house inside the house. Yeah, exactly. Step out of step out of that box.
You want to take away my rectangular so bad. So bad.
Yep.
You know what? Maybe
Yep. I
one
want.
day. One day I'll do a concept.
No. I mean, it's not. It doesn't apply, of course, for everyone. But I feel from certain people that I see that it can be a wonderful item, but also a trap. Sort of like you fall into the comfort of using that item way too much.
I will say though, my style of modern, it kind of needs it. You know, and
Yeah, of
that's what
course.
I.
No, of course. I'm not talking about that specific theme. But if someone wanted to experiment with other different styles.
Absolutely. And I think that's probably why I haven't. When I see people utilizing like fully wooden builds, like I'm just like, especially some of the cottages that we've seen, I'm just like, how do you guys even like what's the first thing that you place and then build around? Because I can't like visualize it.
Mm. Yeah, I built with only rectangular partitions. I did that too. It was fun. That was fun. Although it was not, it was on a small 197. You can't put 200.
Oh God. Oh, that's funny. I think also one of the benefits of using, less like rectangulars is that you're gonna enjoy floating a lot more, I think. Because when you use them in like the wooden textures, they usually have higher float jumps
Yeah.
and
That's
stuff like
definitely
that.
a factor. Yeah.
So you're gonna be a little bit easier on yourself
Hmm.
there. So
Hmm.
hey,
Exactly.
if you can minimize your white rectangular partition usage, definitely do it. So another one of your concepts that I really enjoyed was your Pokemon gyms. And you and
Yeah.
Nina were doing these at like the
Yeah.
same time. And
Yeah.
so
Uh,
was that like a
I
collaborative?
think no. I think Nina's was older. I think she did it fairly fairly older than mine.
I think she initially like started one of them, but I think both of you guys kind of like tried at the same
Honestly,
timeline along.
I proposed that idea as a joke, and they liked it. I mean,
So it was a commission.
yeah, I had someone we had made a house for them, and they were like, so I have like 6 or 7 plots, and
Mm-hmm.
they wanted an idea, and I'm like, hey, Pokemon gyms, and they're like, yes, we want it, we're Pokemon fans, and I'm like, guys, it was a joke,
Oh my
but yeah,
gosh.
yeah, yeah, I was hesitant at first, and I knew that when they proposed that Nina had already released theirs, and I tried to check them in order to avoid similarities if possible.
Damn. You had such dope customers. It's like that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I told you I can take all credit. People have been approaching me with wonderful ideas.
That's dope.
I mean,
Um
let's just listen to the latest ones. Pirate ship is Guardian Apothecary, Fantasy
oh.
Clinic. I mean, what? Fisherman boat in the loneliness. Oh, come on.
I feel like those all sound like titles for like some blockbuster film.
Yeah, I mean, wonderful ideas. Lovely people and wonderful ideas.
I'm excited to see your execution. Honestly, I'm very excited to see how you're gonna tackle, so especially the fantasy clinic. I have
Yeah,
high
that's been
hopes.
that's out. You can check that out. It's been released.
Oh, really? Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I'll take a look at that one. Fantasy clinic. Hmm. Looking back at like all of the designs that you've created within your 4 years, is there anything
Mhm.
that you would change about them today?
I mean, I definitely think some houses deserve an update considering the various new furniture that they released over the years. That's
Mm-hmm.
always been a sad point for me. I mean, I make something and I'm satisfied in patch 5.8, but at patch 6.3, there are so many new items, and I'm like, oh damn, I need to go back and change them because I have to replace this for that and so on.
How do you? Because me personally, I see some designers put like when they do update a build, they would post it like over. I don't know if I could do that. I feel like sometimes if I want to make adjustments, I'll just like ask the owner because yes, it would like change the design as like a whole. But for me personally, I don't know. I feel like if I'm changing it, it's just gonna be like, okay, well, me advising the owner that, hey, so I used like 10 item slots to do this, but because they
Mhm.
just released this item, I can
Mhm.
actually just like use two and actually like potentially give them something that they wanted that had to be cut out, or just add a
Mhm.
little bit extra something else
Yeah, I mean,
somewhere.
exactly. Instead of the great lantern and the manor candelabra, you have the pendant light. Boom.
Yes, yes, that's a great point. Even when I mentioned when I did the wall with the wooden handrails and we got the slots, that saved so much because I think
Mhm.
overall
Mhm.
I used 12 of them and
Mhm.
four
Exactly.
slots did the job just fine.
Exactly. I mean, Slat and among other things, they were some big game changer. So you could save many slots and change many designs in comparison to some items that were not so important, mostly trivial.
Me Morgans and I think it was either Me Morgans and Cam or Me Morgans and Astra. We were having a conversation, well, an argument actually, about like influential items that's changed housing recently. And Morgans was so like stuck on the stance that there hasn't been any game changer housing items. Do you agree with him on that?
Yeah, definitely.
What? There hasn't been any game changing housing items recently? You agree with
After
that?
yeah, after the Slat, I don't see any change. That makes
Hold
me
on,
go,
hold
okay.
on. We're gonna fight again. So this is the second time we're fighting here. So the wooden blinds, you don't think that's been game changing for us in terms of windows
Oh,
and stuff?
which item?
The wooden blinds?
No.
Y'all, what did I say before? The broom, the witch, and the audacity of this because that is such a good item though. Okay. What
I mean,
about
I mean, game changer for me would basically be an item that has more than 2 or 3 uses, and if it doesn't have many alternatives that I can use.
okay, but then you're wrong because we have steel lockers. That's been pretty
Okay.
game changing.
Yeah. Okay. It's a neat item. It's a neat addition. Many good items have been released, but I don't view them as, oh, I have to change like 3 or 4 designs I did in the past because of that item.
Okay. All right.
The waterfall partition was a neat addition, for sure, as well as others. Steel Locker was definitely a fun one. You can finally make pillars with it,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't call it game changing.
But I don't know though. If you look at even builds like from, you know what I would game changing. You said multiple usage. I feel like my approach on game changing is something that made stuff way more possible. And I would say a great game-changing item we got was the Queen's Vests. Just
Yeah,
because
that
of
was a neat. Yeah, a very good addition, but frustrating item. Gate locked behind that battleground.
not sure, but overall, I definitely would agree. I do think since the slats, we haven't had anything that's like just been that useful in any like
Yeah,
aspect.
I mean, in different way of going about things. For example, you have take for example the widescreen we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot do something else with any other item to have the same result. I mean, to have a blank dyeable surface where you can place windows behind. You
Mm-hmm.
can do that. There's no alternative method of going of things to make, for example, open windows or like those fake shiny windows that people make.
Oh, look, someone in the chat mentioned the, I don't know, is it Jill, but partitions? That's how it's pronounced, right? Jill?
The PvP partitions, the goals.
Yes. Those were pretty,
Yeah,
I think those are on the same level as
yeah,
slats in some
yeah.
way.
I mean, they replaced the many dance poles we were using for sure.
That is, oh, but dance pose has also been kind of game changing. I mean, it easily got dethroned, but for a hot
Yeah,
moment.
I mean, game changing. They do not really change the way we do things. We still go about the same methods. I feel that's at least that's my point of view. Like we still use them the same way. It's not a radical change in how I will make a layout, in how I will float things, in how I will glitch things together.
Okay, but how you implement windows to give the impression of class, though, I think that's pretty game changing. Using, especially when the Ivy mural came out and people were using the dance pose with the mural to imitate class, I do think that should count as being game changing because before them, you couldn't have done that. It wasn't possible. I think
For
that's
sure,
game
for
changing.
sure, for sure. Yeah, I agree. They help. Every new addition helps in its own way, either small or big.
But
But
you just focus on like the bigger
I
picture,
don't know.
the
For
grand scale of things.
I don't. I'm being maybe I don't know nostalgic. I don't know. I really like the release of the slat. I felt I don't know. It was a good time when it came out, and I don't know. Maybe I'm nostalgic and stuck in there.
I
Of
agree,
course,
I
I knew
agree
I
with
like.
that.
Of course, I like all the new releases, the flagstones, the dance pole, the pendant lights, the new terminals where we can make more sci-fi things. Of course, every new addition is welcome.
Absolutely. And it's helping the community overall,
Yeah,
in some way.
it's mandatory to progress, and that is what keeps things fresh. I think. I mean, when something gets released, I love how all people rush and try to take an item and rotate it a million different ways to see how it can be used in a newer way than its true purpose. And it's amazing. I like it when it happens. I sit back and watch it happen.
It's always good to see. So I think what we can agree on is that um so we have had items that's been great for progressing as a collective, but
Yeah,
in terms of
yeah.
ranking,
Yeah. It seems that the company has caught on and keeps releasing good items, as well as the items that get released with the contests. More complex items, more texture on the items, more cluttered items.
is there any that you're looking forward to? They recently got announced like the winners. Is there one item that you would die to have in game?
Well, I checked out the contest and the participants.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful ideas, things I would not have imagined for myself. Uh, Basically, I'm pretty much a simple man in that matter. I would be satisfied with just a regular diable plank. That would be my my
Yes.
only
A
like the
horizontal
rustic.
surface.
No, like the rustic self. The same thing, but something plain and diable. Something that I can use in multiple ways. And
That would be game
perhaps
changing.
yeah, and perhaps maybe a white rectangular partition, but blank, where you can put wallpaper on it. That would be fine, I guess.
Yes. Yes. We
Yeah,
need we need
because
that so bad.
yeah, instead of having those huge partitions, Glade, Riviera, and so on. Yeah, but yeah. I'm excited to see all the items introduced that people have won the contest. Of course, we will use it all and see how they merge with existing furniture. But yeah, I wouldn't be satisfied with just a plain plank.
I feel like new housing items is new savage rate tiers for us designers. Like when the patch goes live and we see some of the items and we just immediately start looking at the bottom of it, sticking it in the wall.
Yeah, how does it look from every possible angle? Yeah.
Except the one that it's supposed to be used at.
Yeah, exactly. That's the purpose. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. And it amazes me every time when I see other people do it. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Why didn't I think of that? why didn't I look under that?
Absolutely. Was there any?
And yeah.
When I was thinking if there was like any chances like where I've seen that happen to me. I think like one of the not only people, but the first people that kind of blew my mind. And I always might bring this up as Ashen. She did a modern build where she used like the hanging benches as the bed. And I'm not sure she was the first, but she was the first one that I saw do it. And I was like, whoa, that was pretty dope to use to have like a modern bed like that. Like it's insane.
Exactly.
Okay, so we mentioned like a lot of like the personal side of things. So in terms of like posting, right? This is also gonna help out like newer designers out there, or, you know, just anyone who's like new to like a social creative space. And I asked this to Astra as well. This is one of the questions that's gonna recur with every designer or guest. So, do you believe that it's important to be accepted by others as being creative, or is just doing what you love to do enough to justify your work?
Oh, come on. Be accepted by others to be creative. I don't know. How would you characterize yourself as being accepted? What is the threshold, I mean, for that? I don't understand.
I would probably be like validation of some sort. Like if you're getting validation for your work, that means you're creative. Like you're not doing it.
Validation from whom?
Other people.
From who?
Like the people that, you know, on the social spaces.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's a bit tricky, and it's a bit. It can easily be discouraging for some people. I mean, if you care about the numbers, I would probably suggest, if you can avoid it, avoid it. Just post your things, just let them float. Just about the best you can do. Don't get hung up on numbers, on views, on likes, on validation. If you're content with this activity, this passion, this hobby, call it what you like, just continue doing it. I mean, it's a pastime leisure, at least for me. That's my experience. It's a creative outlet. It's a creative outlet. It's a hobby. I don't know. I get to share it with other people who also like it. So that's the most important part for me, at least.
I agree with you.
Even if there was one person on this game that liked it, I would still probably do it. I don't care. We would be two people making houses. Who cares?
I love that. One of my favorite
more houses for us to play with. I don't care.
One of my favorite celebrities, Lady Gaga. There's like a compilation of her saying, there could be 100 people in a room, and all it takes is that one person to believe in you, and that's enough to keep you going. And I agree with that.
Take this podcast for example. If we convince at least one person today to get involved in Final Fantasy housing, our job is done.
100%. 100%.
One person, I don't care, but at least one person. And we don't discourage existing ones.
That's true. That's room for us all. When
Yeah.
I first started housing, and I can see both sides because I was both sides. When I first started, my intentions was definitely in the wrong place. I definitely was chasing numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I can understand that. Yeah.
this is me being 100% honest here, okay? When I first started housing, I wanted to be quote unquote the king of modern.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was a very, looking back, very immature mindset to have. Like, you can be confident in your work, obviously. That's okay. Have your confidence. Self-confidence goes a long way. Um, but I was chasing that validation from other people. Like, I knew I had talent for it.
Mm-hmm.
But my intentions back
Yeah.
then wasn't pure. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that.
even when like I posted the bills, it quote unquote success, the success level of them wasn't like even, I wasn't getting that outreach. But when I took a step back and decided, okay, well, you have some reflecting to do on your purpose, on why you're doing these things. And when I did that, I evaluated like my social spaces. Um, and there was a lot of people in my ear that kind of fueled that mindset and made me
Mm-hmm.
think that it was acceptable. And when I took a
Yeah.
step back and I saw it happening in like other avenues of life, I realized
Mm-hmm.
that, oh my God, I'm actually a victim of this, and that's not a good thing. So when I took a step back and I actually like started building for me and the clients, that's when I quote unquote started to flourish because my intentions were now pure and people were now getting attracted to that energy. Not only like in terms of like clients, but people in the community as well. And honestly, I'm very thankful that some of those people, I pissed a lot of people off in my early days in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And just having that growth and reflection and being able to have a conversation with them and extend some well-deserved apologies, um it just helped change. And I probably wouldn't even have been able to be hosting this podcast and having people like
Mm-hmm.
yourself on here if I continue with that mentality. So I'm happy and thankful for that. So I agree with you.
Yeah, I
um
can understand. I can understand 100% what you mean. And I mean, in terms of validation, I mean, we're talking about an activity that you can't be 100% uh, subjective to it. I mean, what would make you, for example, the king of modern? You
mhm.
like 1,000 people said it, 2,000 people said it. Okay, so it matters who said it. I mean, it's a moot point. I mean, if it matters that you do something that makes you happy, that keeps you content. At least that's my point of view.
For sure, and I agree. It could
Yeah.
definitely,
I don't
definitely.
know. I mean, everyone has its own their own goals and agendas. In the end, I think it's a really niche community, and I think we need to get past those points and just progress and have fun,
Absolutely.
basically, and have fun, basically.
I
Because
agree.
that's it for me. I mean, I don't. It's a weird space because it has to do with an exchange of some sort of service.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't view people as clients at all, I just view them as uh, friends I have not met yet. At least that's my mentality going in every house.
I love that.
And I know some people don't view it that way. They want to say, okay, have this skill, make me this house. Okay, shake hands, bye. That's not my mentality going in. At least, but I don't discard that mentality, of course, to its own. I just try to be, I don't know, more
for,
open, I guess,
for sure, for sure.
more more accepting. I don't know.
I mean, I'm definitely like that now. My clients, people who approach me for commissions, I usually develop such a good relationship with them, like I had one, not even just one client. I've had a few clients tell me, "Get to work, peasant." Um, it's just like that's how close we got in. Where they would just tell me, why are you talking to me right now? Aren't you supposed to be designing my house? Like, get in there. Um,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah,
definitely
yeah, it's there's ambiguity in this space. I can understand that. Yeah,
I
but
get
some people
bullied.
no, but as with everything in life, we don't see it the same way,
Absolutely. And I
and
think
that's
it's
fine. That's fine. I like the variety. It's
yeah,
exciting. It's amusing. I like it.
I think
I
it's
don't mind.
also like a good type of bond to have because y'all would be, communicating for a while, spending time together. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah,
I like it.
also I love it in this game that there's so many features, so many things you can do, and yeah, there may be some more popular communities than other within the game, but there are many things that you can do, from housing to raiding to G-posing, and I think that's really neat.
I don't know. I think maybe it's a little bit of bias, but I feel like housing should be way more popular. Like
Right.
it's mind-boggling
Oh,
that we're so small of a community because I know people say don't look at numbers and stuff, but when I look at the engagements on some posts and stuff, that's like a lot of general community reception from it. So when you see like how popular housing is, but being in the community yourself, and you're like, it's really not that huge though. It
yeah, I
kind
mean
of
maybe partly due to the system in place for owning houses. I don't know. Not many percent, not much. Not, there's not the percentage of people actually owning houses is very small compared to the
so
overall
the
population.
accessibility of it is kind of what's hampering because everyone can
Yeah,
rate.
it's yeah. I can like it can be very daunting. So the people might say, I don't care about that, and also it's not the primary objective of the game.
It
I
should be
mean,
though. Like you should get to level 80, get a house, design house.
I can understand. Yeah,
Oh wait, level
yeah.
90. I think
I don't.
90 is the cap now.
Yeah, yeah. I don't mind it. Either, of course, if it grows, all the better. The more the merrier. Yeah.
I
If
mean,
we if we can personally do something to encourage such involvement, and it can be done, can we put our effort? Yeah, I'm all for it.
for sure, for sure.
To be fair, I have not thought of many ways that can be done. I mean, these podcasts you've been starting, as well as other podcasts from previous uh, collaterals, have been amazing,
For sure.
and I fully support them, at least in the degree that I can.
And we appreciate that too. And that's kind of part of the reason why, I wanted to start this, just to have like a casual conversation with some of the
Yeah.
creative people. Because you see them post their bills or design work. Um, sometimes they, have their own server, or if they have just a card to go off of.
Hmm.
And the only time that someone would like talk to them is to find, finalize a commission request or something, and that's pretty much it. Um,
Yeah.
but they don't really get to know, like, someone can like love a design from them and have so much questions about that design. So, on the off chance that maybe for you, for example, with the
Hmm.
Pokemon bills or the Amaranth team bills that you did, someone may have loved to hear your perspective on that because, or even your haunted hospital, it inspired Alora in the chat and so many other people, as well, I'm sure. So, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's good to know. I wouldn't really know about that. It's I have not been getting much feedback, but yeah, that's good to know.
so I'm trying to make it, again, just to showcase some personality from designers here. And I feel like if anyone in the community could do it, it's me. I think I'm very outspoken. I think I have the personality for it.
Hmm.
And I don't know, you can attest to it. I feel like I also help make people, just feel comfortable to talk and have a chat. So, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. That's definitely a good point.
so I'm happy, again, for you guys, coming on as well. So, going back to some of your bills, right?
Mhm.
When you're starting a design, do you pre-plan the entire design or do you just follow from where your inspiration takes you?
Well, that's the non-standard part. Well, the process is a bit messy. If, for example, we could break it down in steps,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I would probably go for like step one, the discussion with the owner, as we previously said, very important.
Mm-hmm.
Step two, the research, a whole lot of time spent in research. Step three, which is the non-standard part of going about things, at least for me, is the actual making of the house. So, because of all the different themes, I employ different methods of working. For example, as with the one that we're sitting now,
Mm-hmm.
I I employ what I like to stupidly call the supernova method. Basically, I have the idea for a specific concept, like for example the middle part, and I expand everything around that. I have the idea for a fireplace. I make the fireplace where I want it to be, and then just kind of expand all the layout around this. Other times, I start by figuring out the layout. First, erase all the walls, and then fill the world inside. Another way of going would probably be the train wagon method. I break
Mm-hmm.
down the idea in compartments. I finish, for example, the entrance, the walls, details, clutter everything, and
Mm-hmm.
then move on to the next. That way is a bit more tricky, at least from my experience, because it's easily to lose track of slots.
That is true.
If you're not okay, yeah, you will. If I spend too many slots on one aspect, I will not have remaining slots to finish the design. But yeah, there's different ways of going.
So would you say like it's usually in micro steps for you, like smaller, and then you build up to like the full thing?
It depends on the theme. It depends. Sometimes I have the clutter in mind, so that's more important in one theme. Sometimes I want to make the walls first, macro to micro, I suppose. So I have to make all the layout and then fill it with furniture, paintings, sofas, whatever, what have you.
Gotcha,
It
gotcha.
depends. It depends on the theme. It's never the same.
Okay, so how do you know when a design is finished and needs no additional work? And please don't tell me when you run out of item slots.
No, I tend to not run out of slots. I usually allocate like 30 slots for lightning effects. So I usually have spare slots to work with. So if it's a medium, I don't imagine it has 300 slots. I just work with 250.
Oh wow.
And yeah, I need 30 slots to cover the lightning
Uh,
most of the time.
so have you had like complete bills that even accounting for your lighting and
Yeah,
everything, there's
yeah,
still
yeah,
some free item slots in there?
yeah, for sure.
Oh, some designers would
Some
kill you.
yeah, some designs I feel that any extra addition would overdo it, and it would look bad.
Wow. See, I wish.
It depends on the style. Most times, cottages and rustic homes tend to be more slot friendly
Mm-hmm.
because of the great textures of woods. The house feels more rich in comparison to other styles. So you actually need less slots for it to feel like homely or full or detailed.
Gotcha, gotcha. Because I feel like some designers, myself included, um, I be building and I'll be so into building, and then I look at the items placed and I'm like 290 out of 300. And I'm like, oh my God, I still have this one door to do. How am I gonna
Oh,
get
yeah.
an item friendly door?
Yeah, yeah, we've all been there. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, we've all been there.
But I mean, the fact that you also thank you for joining. Sai. Enjoy your raid. Good luck. The fact that you complete designs and you still have some free item slots in there,
I
I
mean,
feel
I
like,
know, I know, I know. For example, that some people forget to tell me that they want bells, NPCs
oh
hidden somewhere.
yes,
So I try to amend that beforehand and always, so that we don't run in a situation where I have to remove 5 or 6 slots. Also, I know that I need some slots for camera collision on the ceiling, which plays an important part for me at least.
for sure, for sure. Um, I don't know. I kind of also relate to that because like, I was telling you earlier in terms of the orchestrion and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll be building and I forget to even include like the message book.
Wait. I mean, don't you have those things placed beforehand, like in
No,
a row?
I always take them out.
Come on. I mean, most of my owners already do it themselves. They have book, orchestrion, bells, NPCs all lined up. Vanzel, don't forget about them.
Okay, so maybe it's my fault because I tell them pick everything up.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna get rid of everything. Let me just go into a blank slate.
Yeah, blank canvas. Okay, okay. No, no, no cleaning.
No, no, they do all
Oh,
the
come on.
spring cleaning. I'm just here to.
That's half the fun. Breaking down a build, you're missing out.
Nah, I did it once and it was from another designer and I felt so bad. So from then I never wanted to do it again.
Oh, come on, that's half the fun. I'm like, have you taken pictures? If it's a yes, the build goes down in 5 minutes.
You are encouraging me to be so bad.
Come on, it's not bad. I mean, it's fun. Removing items.
That's true though. That's true. But I let them have the fun. You know, the fun for me is actually building something new, fresh. You know, that's fun. That's my
Yeah, for
fun.
sure, for sure.
But I
Yeah,
will
I
say
mean,
though,
most times, yeah, they have the house empty if it doesn't have an existing design.
so you know what I'm gonna do after today then? I'm going
What?
to break down the build that they had in there before, and then I'm gonna tell them, okay, you see this? You clean this up now. You clean up your storage. So instead of them doing everything, I'll break it down for them. Go 50-50, you know? Compromise.
Yes, we do the cleaning for you as well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's fine.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I can understand if the storage is full. Yeah, I mean, it can be problematic.
So tell them empty their
You-
storage first then.
Yeah, something like that. It depends. If they have many store-bought items from the vendor and they don't mind selling them back, that's okay.
Damn, we're
Most
gonna
times,
make them.
mo- most times I have spare room in my alt, so I just pick everything up and just place it in storage later.
Damn. We're gonna make them do double work though, because they're gonna be clearing their storage before the build starts, and then when you destroy everything, then you're gonna tell them clear this out again. I mean, hey, part of the process, right? You know what you're getting
Yeah,
into.
yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about destroying, right? But
Mhm.
if you had the opportunity, um, what designer would you do a build collab with and why?
Oh, I don't know. That's a tricky question because I think does the saying go? Where many roosters crow, it's the dawn never comes. I feel like everyone has their own strong opinions, and it would be, I don't know, it will be maybe a bit problematic to collaborate. Yeah, too
Okay,
many
but
cooks.
in a
Too
perfect
many cooks.
world, in a perfect
Too,
world, who would you? Who would
yeah.
you?
Well, I think it would be. it would be a neat idea if we could collaborate with people from different regions. I think that's very, very important, where if we could merge or bring together the Japanese community and the Chinese housing community, because they all do different stuff from the EU, US scene. So that would be fun.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, because they have different way of going about things in terms of their layout, their sketching, their process. So I think it will be an important step. So if I could collaborate, I think I would probably pick someone from the either Japanese or Japanese community.
Gotcha. Yo, this is how you know that Vanzel is trained in PR. He gave such a PR response by not like just saying one person. He was like, okay, it would be someone from. Yeah, I wanted a name.
Name. Let me think.
Yeah, I wanted a name. I wanted to know like
a collab house with someone.
Yeah, like Vanzel X someone.
That's a tough one. I have so many people in my mind that are lovely and
Okay,
fun
well,
to work with.
just pure one that you think would be so fun.
In terms, I would to support my argument about the communities, I would probably pick Tantan from the Japanese community.
A Vanzel X Tantan collaboration. I could see that.
I think I'm a big fan. I think they do awesome stuff, and I think they're very nice.
That's dope. I think for me, I probably want Sazira. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Oh yeah.
I think they do such amazing immersive windows and stuff.
Old school housing enthusiast.
Yeah, I would die for that opportunity. But yeah, hey,
it depends what we would have to make.
If you get the chance, you know what? Do you want me to schedule it for you? I can get them on the phone. You know, I can send the email, make it happen.
I hope they are well versed in English because I don't know any.
For sure. Okay, so a collab would require you to vibe off of another person. So that kind of brings me to my next question, which is, how do you manage to stay both personal and original in your designs?
I would say the personal part would come probably from a thorough discussions I have with owners. I like to actually take the time to discuss with them all the ideas, all the desires that they want, all the things that they have in their mind, any references they have, any special connections they might have with the build, if it's something they saw in real life or it's something from their actual life, or it's just basically something that they saw in game. The original part, I think I just try to steer clear of not checking any other Final Fantasy designs as much as I can, at least. But it's tough because I like watching and supporting other people's work, so it's kind of tough not to check them. So I just try to see them, but okay, someone else did that, but let me see if I can take a better spin at it or a different way of looking at it, so that they have their thing and mine is relatively similar but not similar. That makes any sense.
Gotcha. And I think part of that, what helps it is because of how much you dive into like the history of your design styles.
Yeah, it's one of the most important parts for me. It's interesting. Some people might finding time wasted or too much the hassle, but I like the research. I enjoy it. It gives me an opportunity to learn something new, either about history or about some culture or architecture style or some other country. It's interesting, definitely.
I agree with you. I think every build that I've designed, I would say post 2020, have all been like a combination of different concepts
Mm-hmm.
that I saw online in some way or another.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and you mean and there are many designs. I mean, real life designs that you see them and they're like, okay, this translates excellent in this
and
game.
game, yep.
Yeah, either it's from an illustrator or it's some art or something from Pinterest or what have you, and you're like, yeah, this can be made easily,
I
and
think
you
what
can just
my
make it.
my first like light bulb moment with that, because I wanted to make an accent wall,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't just want to do the standard horizontal or vertical stripes or
Mm-hmm.
just color blocking.
Mm-hmm.
That's been done before. I wanted to do something fresh and new. And I was talking to Sint, and this was before he posted his spaceship build with like the
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
diagonal
yeah,
lines and stuff.
yeah, nice futuristic stuff. Nice, nice.
And he was like, there's one item I used in this build that people have overlooked since it came out, and that was the pub signboards. As in terms of like the modern usage of it, we've seen people
Mm-hmm.
like use it in bars and stuff like that, cafes, etc. But I went to searching, I think for an hour. I was looking at different accent walls. I think I had like 5 different tabs open on Google at
Mm-hmm.
once. And I saw the chevron accent wall, and I was like, oh my God, wait, I might actually be able to do this. And it was a commission for Camellias. It was Niagara. I think this was my final build in 2020 or 2021, I think. And it was slot intensive. I think it costed around 36. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna get this done. So doing your research and stuff definitely works.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's important. I mean, yeah, you can of course make things out of your mind and of your imagination, but yeah, definitely helps.
Oh
It
yeah,
depends the theme. It really depends the theme. Each theme is very specific
for real.
sometimes.
And going back to that build for Cam, because I see them bringing it up in the chat. So I think Laura went to visit the build, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she took pictures and she messaged me and she was like, Ram Ram, I like the build, but there's like a huge Christmas tree here. So I was like, no, she mentioned the Christmas tree, but I think there's the tiny ones, right? The tiny ones, and there's like the huge one that you see in like
Mm-hmm.
FCs and stuff. And so I was like, a Christmas tree is fine. But then she was like, no. She took a screenshot and she sent it to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, this does not fit the theme of this design at all. So I messaged Cam and I was like, about that Christmas tree, remove it. Um, so yeah. That's the
Yeah.
one time that I would tell you designers to hold your ground, okay? Because if you put so much work into making a feature of the house and your client just puts a fat ass Christmas tree in front of all of your hard work and slots, you you
Yeah,
you
yeah,
stand your ground.
yeah. That tree is a bit big. Yeah.
And Laura, I'm not throwing you under the bus. It's just a coincidence of events, right? You just sent me a screenshot and I noticed a detail that was included that I didn't include
Yeah,
myself.
that's a big ass tree. Yeah.
That's a huge tree. So definitely. That was pretty funny. I made him get rid of that real quick. I was like, if you want to be
Yeah. Yeah.
festive,
Was it floated or it was the whole thing?
it was
Because
the
you get
whole
oh
tree. It was cutting into the ceiling too. Like it was just obstructing the entire seating area. It was atrocious.
yeah, it's a bit out of proportions. Yeah.
And the thing is, it could have worked, right? But when your build is black and brown with
Mm-hmm.
neutrals and black in the entrance, and you just have this bright white tree with green and red, and blinking lights in a calm, neutral, zone, it just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. I'm not being
Yeah.
the Grinch. I love Christmas. I just didn't like Christmas there. Okay. It just wasn't festive there. So we've seen like a lot of things in the housing community, like in terms of like what's been popular. Do you have any thoughts on like design current design trends? Do you have any favorites that you like seeing?
Trends. Well, I'm not sure if it can be called a trend, but blocking off floors, sacrificing space for details. I think it's becoming more and more from trend to being the norm the past years, which I enjoyed. I use it. That's the way we go. Apart from that, trends. I really enjoy outdoors to indoors designs, which is something that we have been seeing happening more and more. So that's nice to see. That's good to see. It's interesting using the house other than a house to make it something else, like an outdoor area.
For sure. I think the first time I dabbled with that, this outdoor indoor build, is my oh my god, what was the name of it? It's some forest. I've done so much build, I can't remember all the names. Um, but it was on EU. It's a commission on EU. I really can't remember the name, but it's like the modern platform with the bedroom surrounded by like the forest area, and that was so
What
fun.
the one that they visited by Square
Yes,
Enix?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Okay.
That one. I want to do another one of those so bad. And look, oh no, I was gonna lie. I was gonna tell you I didn't even use any white rectangular partitions in that build, but I used 6. I used 6 of them. Damn it, man. I was so close.
It's not a 2-digit number. Yeah, you're good.
Oh gosh. Progress. But I want to
Yeah,
do another one of those.
yeah. Those are very nice. I think the only problematic part that we encounter in the outdoor design is the ceiling. It
Yes.
we think with how things are standing now, it's a bit difficult to imitate an open sky, for example. Even if you put the rugs, the undersea spoils, for example, for a night sky.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from a certain angle, at a certain G-pose shot, I imagine it will look good, but at least for me, when I'm inside, it doesn't translate 100% as it should.
For real. And I think that's why
Yeah.
I'll give.
So if we have the patios like the one you made. You had the patio, so which
True,
was
true, true.
it's a bit more realistic, if that makes sense.
And that's where I'd like give credit to us as like a community as a whole for just expanding our disbelief when it comes to certain things and just appreciating it for what it is. For example, like when we create open windows and we just put the dance pole to imitate glass, everyone can see that it's glass or
Yeah,
something like that. So
yeah. It's our best efforts to imitate these features.
and I like that we uplift each other too because in some cases I've seen it happen on the GPO side of things where someone would like use a pose and they wouldn't like do the body proportions perfectly, like 100% perfect, and someone would like point out the elbow not being like accurate or a finger being out of position or stuff like that, and it's just it's minor stuff though, we're doing our best with what we can. So
Definitely.
I like that as a community we I know
Yeah, I mean it's important. I mean it's important. Constructive criticism is always important as well. If we're talking about that and not some backhanded condiments. So, yeah, definitely.
absolutely. So we're nearing the end of the podcast. So this is just gonna be some of the closing questions.
Sure.
So what's something that you know now that you didn't when you started?
I wish someone had told me how hard it is to own a house. I
That is
would
so
probably
true.
started. I would probably started a different server. Too
Yep,
late now.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
Apart from that, as far as housing goes and technical, from a technical standpoint, I don't think that I would have something. I mean, you learn as you go, but I think that that would be some information that I would have liked to know.
For sure. And that's like 100% the reason why.
Yeah, I would have better chances to own a house earlier than I did because I chose a server without any knowledge.
I will say, if you're new and you want to get into housing, do not go to Primal. Which server? You're in EU, so which server would you tell them to
Mhm.
not go to? Which data
No,
center?
EU, I don't know. Probably the new servers that they released are okay. Springen was fine actually, even a few months back from what I remember. But the older ones are definitely no go.
For sure. Like if
Yeah,
they're
I mean, if you follow some housing alerts at the server, for example, you see in my server now there's not even a medium, never.
wow, I feel like
They don't need. Yeah, yeah,
that was the case for me back on Primal.
yeah. Even with the placards, even with the previous system, it was bad.
Yep, I think the best decision I ever made as a housing designer is moving my main to a DC where I could get a house to call my own.
Yeah. Plus, in speaking of servers, it's at least from my experience, the housing community is not so big on Light and Chaos as it is on Japanese and all the
And
American servers.
it's
Yeah,
terrible.
it's the people. I can understand that people are not so interested. It's just this sample does not is not really interested that much as the Japanese servers and the Americans. At least from my experience. I mean, if we take a look at my past houses, almost 80% of them were in American servers.
I mean, the demand here is high. Like
Yeah, I don't
you,
mind. I don't mind. I don't mind. As I said, I have outlets everywhere now, so it's fun.
gotcha. So you've designed a lot. You have 4 years of experience. You do. There's a section in your Discord, where you post like your concepts and stuff like that. So I want to ask,
Yeah. Hmm.
is there any like advice that you would give to like newer housing designers?
Like their advice. Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of things that we can give to sprout the housing enthusiasts, as well as owners, as well as people that would like to get involved. Uh, advice, so many. Where to start?
Hey, you can give them. You can throw them at them. Honestly,
I feel, I think it's important to, I don't know, maybe view this whole space as an experience to do the thing that you like and communicate with other people that share the same enthusiasm. Don't look at it so much as a means to make a deal. I don't know. I never viewed it as that. Even when I started, I didn't view it as that. I mean, I don't know if I make sense.
you do 100% for sure.
I mean, if it's something that you enjoy, for example, you enjoy raiding, you should just focus on doing that with the people that also enjoy raiding. So that's the same thing with housing. And if you practice, of course, another important thing, practice makes perfect.
True.
Practice. Lightning is king, definitely. Or something all to keep in mind for everyone. I think it's very important.
I agree. I agree. And I think it's pretty solid advice, especially for young people. Just have fun with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's again, it's a weird it's a weird space, and maybe thinking there's something of an experience to meet and communicate with other people rather than like a service. I don't know, at least for me. Since of course we're not talking about the exchange of real goods. We're talking about guild.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm sure if you are interested, there are plenty of people that you can find that are willing to offer you their house, give you a budget to play with, and experience your experiment with your skills and evolve. That was at
Gotcha.
least one of my. Well, I'm sorry. That was at least one of my concepts that I had in mind at some point. For example, the design we're sitting in to be torn down at some point and offer it to Sprout designers for their amusement.
Gotcha. I can definitely feel that. Um so
But yeah, don't certainly don't be discouraged. Don't get hung up on numbers and stuff. That comes and goes. And even if one person likes your stuff, that's enough. Hey, you found another person who likes the same stuff. How fun is that?
100%. Go to York and vibe, have fun, nerd out over a mutual
Yeah,
topic.
yeah,
No?
yeah, definitely. How amazing is that? You find in a niche community another person that likes arranging pixels to make fantasy homes.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Um so I think you kind of answered this already in terms of like you wanting to like potentially build for some people who may not be able to like necessarily afford it. With your nieces
Mm-hmm.
and nephews
Mm-hmm.
initiative
Yeah,
there. But is there anything that you haven't done yet that you feel compelled to achieve in the future?
to achieve. Mm, I would definitely love to be visited by Square Enix.
To be what by Square? Sorry.
To be visited by Square Enix, I would definitely
Oh,
like that.
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
no, yeah, no, that's I'm joking. But I don't know. I don't know. Definitely, we will definitely. I will definitely be exploring new ideas. Certainly, some old things that I have done in the past. It's sometimes difficult for me to say no, mostly because people have been approaching, as I said, with fabulous ideas, and
Mm-hmm.
it's hard for me to turn down. I mean, they come with me with something weird, and I can't say no to that. We have to try it to see if it works.
Sure, that's true.
Yeah, so I don't know. We will see. Definitely, we'll see. As long as people are interested and reach out, I'm always happy to chat up, even if it doesn't work out. Even if we can't do what they want, I can always refer them to someone else or help them out a different way if they like.
Gotcha, gotcha. That was one of your designs, right? Out of all that you posted on, if you wanted to be remembered by one of them, like when someone thinks Vanzel, that's the build that you want them to think of. Which one would it be, and why that one?
No, no build.
None. You don't
No,
have like a.
none. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Okay, I mean I respect it. I definitely respect it. I think
Yeah,
I mentioned earlier for me, you think Banzo, I think of the haunted hospital. Uh,
yeah. That was not the intent, but I can understand that. Yeah.
so
I mean,
that's
I understand your point of view. I just think I don't know how it comes across, but I like to believe that I'm comfort with several styles, so I like being approached by people that have a design idea in mind, even if it's not something they have seen. If it's something weird, something peculiar, if it's just a concept, whatever it is. So I guess I think I would like to be open about that.
Gotcha. So do you, it's okay, so you do interior design in 14, but do you have like any like family members that also does design work IRL? Do you do design work? Or is
No,
it
no,
just
no. No, nothing. I generally have been always intrigued by the building aspect in games. Uh, and I have been an avid fan of Final Fantasy series, so those two aspects kind of merged together nicely in Final Fantasy 14. But other than that, no, nothing in real life regarding housing or something in that aspect.
gotcha. That makes sense. Um, so us in creative fields, right? We create a lot, but also on our journey of, creating, whether it's a design, or anything of that sort, there's creative blocks. Um, you mentioned like you have a process
Mhm.
that you go through with your research or histories. Do you ever still deal with creative blocks along the way?
Yeah, all the time. Which is mainly the reason why I also do different themes and juggle different commissions at the same time. I never have one project ongoing. It's usually two or three at the same time.
Oh,
So if I don't have an idea for one, I go back to the previous one and work them together.
I tried that for the first time recently, where I worked on multiple bills at once. In the start, it was pretty refreshing for me,
Mhm.
but my brain was just like, bitch, pick one and focus
Yeah,
on
yeah.
mine.
Yeah, you can get your hands full very quickly and get confused. I can understand that. Yeah, it happens. The thing is that for example, I accept when we discuss with an owner and we accept and we agree on a theme, I don't usually get to them before I have the idea for what we want to do. I mean, I will, for example, put them on a wait list, give them an estimate of a time period, but when I get back to them, I already have the idea in my mind. I already have it finished in my mind. So when we
Mhm.
start and we finish. It goes fast. If we start, it goes fast. I will not get stuck on the actual process because I will already have thought of it beforehand. It
That's
usually goes like that, at least for me.
that's fair. That's fair. Um, I think it would help. Definitely would help. Me personally, sometimes it really depends. I go heavily based off of like inspiration, and my
Mm-hmm.
references. And
Mm-hmm.
once the reference can be worked on very, very smoothly, I love it. And I would say, going back to the topic of game changing items, I would include the wooden staircase bookshelf as one, because I think that's helped so much, especially in terms of like my designs and the way that I
Oh
use
yeah,
them.
yeah. I can understand. Yeah, it's a good item, old school item. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. Very,
once
very neat, very nifty.
once like a reference can be worked on and incorporated smoothly, I'm good with that. But when it requires me to actually like work around some stuff, it can get a little tricky. But figuring it out and seeing it work is so satisfying
Mm-hmm.
once you get it
Yeah,
done.
definitely. Yeah, I agree.
Um, so yeah, one last question, you guys. We're nearing the
Yeah,
end
shoot.
here. And this is gonna be kind of like just social, for the Creative Minds
Mm-hmm.
podcast. Usually the last
Mm-hmm.
question that I ask my guests. Um, so is there anyone that you'd like to, know more about to be a guest on the podcast potentially?
Mm. Yeah, for sure. Let me think. Well, well, for me, if I had to, as we said before, if I had to categorize it, In my
Mm-hmm.
mind, I have a lot of lovely people that I admire and that I definitely check their process and their works.
Sure.
I like to categorize it by region, to be honest, in a sense that in my mind I have it as this. For the Chinese community, I really like Ririko.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good. Fresh takes on moderns. Uh, for US and EU community, uh, oat milk and dividus for sure.
Oh, nice.
Ingenuity, clutter, immersion. That's the top of their game. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, for the Japanese, as we said, Tantan. I feel Tantan possesses the versatility, the imagination, and the screenshot skills. I
100%
really,
agree.
yeah, I think, yeah, their builds look good in game, but I really like how they look compared in pictures as well.
For sure. For sure. It just goes to show the creativity.
Yeah, so basically, if we could see someone, I would definitely be up for someone from the non-main English community, like someone from the Japanese, like Caesarea or Tantan, or someone from the Chinese, to sort of see how they think and how they go about things, how they discover new glitches, how they make their houses.
For sure. For sure.
And that would be neat.
Yeah, it would be neat to have them.
Yeah, I don't.
Um,
To be honest, I don't know how well versed they are with English. I mean, we could bring a translator.
hey, I
uh,
mean, yeah,
I
I'm
don't know.
down.
I don't know. I mean, the language barrier exists, and sometimes I think it holds us back. But it would
Yeah,
be really nice
unfortunately.
to sort of bring these housing communities closer.
Imagine what we would accomplish if there was no language barrier. Like, imagine if just
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah. I mean,
literally,
yeah. For example, I mean, many people don't contact me because they are not we cannot communicate in English.
yep,
I'm having some hard time, they have some hard time, so we cannot find a common language to agree on.
100%. Language barrier is a bitch, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's been a pleasure to have you on episode 2, the Creative Minds
Thank you. It's
podcast.
been an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I'd like to apologize for my weird accent and my grammar.
No, no,
Uh,
it's
it's not my
amazing.
native language, but I think okay, I did all right.
It's amazing.
If we were typing, it would be okay.
You did great. And just a reminder, you guys, Vanzel is about 7 hours ahead. So it's very, very late and early for him. Both of
That's all
them.
right. That's right. If I can make time. Anything related to housing and anything that brings more people to this community is always welcome, and I try to be as supportive of that as I can.
And I appreciate it so much. It was a blast having you as a guest. Had an amazing time. I look forward to seeing your future builds
Yeah,
that you.
I have a backlog of like 5 builds I have not yet released.
Well, I'm on the edge of my seat. You better send me like a work in progress one or a little teaser for the next one.
I try to spread them, not to spam. I don't like spamming people.
I'm demanding. I'm demanding a preview of the next post. I'll keep it confidential, of course, of course.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. Do you have any preference in style? There are many.
Surprise me, wow me. I'll be captivated either ways. But again, it was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Mhm.
so much for
Thank you.
taking the
Thank you for
time
having
out.
me. I wish you all the best on your endeavors regarding the housing podcast. Uh, I think it's a very good idea, and I'm glad someone is doing it. I know the HGXIV channel was doing it a few
Mm-hmm.
years back, I really loved that, and I really like this one too. It's a great idea.
Definitely, definitely. So again, thank you to everyone who stopped in. For those of you who's going to be watching the pod or on YouTube, thank you for stopping in. Thank you for watching to the end. Thank you for being here. Um, Everyone is in chat as well. I appreciate all of your support. Those of you who made posts in your discords and stuff like that. Truly, truly, truly appreciate it. Again, thank you everyone for being very patient with me. I know this episode was very late, but we are back on schedule now. So do look forward to that. The next episode will be on the 6th of May. So mark it in your calendars. Look forward to it. Again, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Uncle Vanzel, for your time. Again, it was a pleasure. And yeah, hope you guys have a great night. And we shall see you guys around the corner. Good night, y'all.